All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, where tonight's matchup, Dr. DT versus WR Jones 104. We are in the finals of the spicy chicken pod, so that's why you see that up on the screen here. It should be an epic showdown of insane proportions. Dr. DT and Jones have both won races in their pods for this past few rounds, and it should be a really good matchup. Additionally, later on at 9 p.m. Eastern, so in about 2 hours from now, we have the Doom Pod finals between Javinator and Green Monkey here on the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Twitch channel. So make sure you are here. That should be very, very exciting. And yeah, we also have 4 racers in the semifinals right now. We have Fantastodon, the winner of the Ultros pod, defeating yours truly, The Schwantz27, in the finals. We have Hash Malum, who took down Drulith in his matchup. Kilbasiago, who took down Jolly Green Ray in their matchup. And last night on Speed Gaming 2, Doesn't He was a Swift racer, finishing first against Ficta to win his particular pod. So we have 4 of our 7 quarterfinals set to go. After this, like I said, Javinator versus Green Monkey, who is going to punch their ticket into the finals. And right now we are going to be doing Dr. DT versus WR Jones, the spicy chicken pod. So we'll have to see who is going to be punching their tickets into our quarterfinals. Production quality, graphics. You know, some of these volunteers in this community are really special. Look at these insane, crazy pictures. There it is, Kilbasiago, your name up in the bright lights here. So yes, we have Dr. DT versus Jones on the docket tonight, and it looks like both of our racers are ready. I'm going to be the one gatekeeping, so I'll talk about another minute for the flags while we are just hanging out here. That was the wrong thing I turned off. I feel like I'm in Spaceballs. No, you turned off the whole movie. You didn't turn the screen off. So let's talk a little bit about tonight's option set. And let's see. So we might be joined by Fantastodon. I accidentally turned us up way too high there. My bad. All right. So let's take a look at the flag sets. So we have to find 6 characters and 9 Espers in order to unlock Final Kefka. As per usual, all of the other races have had this so far in this tournament. We do get a Kefka's Tower skip at either 9 characters or 12 Espers. We do start with 3 characters. You do get a Dragoon set if you set the Zozo clock. You also get an Illumina if you do 3 of the 5 worst checks in the game. Fanatics Tower, Phantom Train, the Opera House, the Leet River, or the Phoenix Cave. And in this particular set of options, we are scaling our enemies based on the number of checks that you do times 2.5. So every check you do, even the dead ones, which there is no free progression on, so there will be dead checks, and they will give you top tier items, but at the cost of increasing your enemy levels by 2.5. And bosses get an extra 10 levels straight off the rip. So that should be interesting to have. And we've got Fantastodon in the booth. Hello, welcome Fantastodon. Thank you for filling in on the commentary section here. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing well. How's it going? How's my sound?
Sounds great. I am terrible at this, though. I keep accidentally playing the I keep playing the background music by mistake, so. But yes, the winner The Ultras Pod finalists are in the booth tonight. So, again, congratulations on moving on. But tonight, we will see who will move on between WR Jones and Dr. DT. So what do you think? Have you been watching some of these other races, and what do you expect to see tonight?
I have. They've been pretty close, haven't they? I believe the Spicy Chicken Pod has been sort of all over the map in terms of finishing times and places. So it's sort of anyone's race, right?
Yes, we do have...
I would say so.
Oh, it's Mega Man in the booth. What's up, Mega Man? How are you doing tonight?
Sorry, I'm late. Food arrived a bit late.
Yep, that's the story of my life, too. So...
And I don't want to eat cold food.
Never a good thing. So I will let you guys have at it as our runners are off. I should be sharing my screen. I am so sorry. That's not what I want to show. I want to show this. And there we go.
I'm gonna hop out and let the official commentators handle comms, but I'll definitely be watching. Should be a fun race.
All right, great. Thank you, Fantastodon, for stopping in and saying hi. And we'll catch you on the next one. All right. So, Mega Man, how are we tonight? We are well nourished.
Yes. I'm doing well this Saturday night.
It is Thursday, I believe, so no wonder why you were late. Yeah, I also I scarfed down some cornbread right before I came on. Well, let's see what we've got here. We've got a Strago and Cyan, and I think that was a Realm start. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Yep, that is Realm. Don't know any of the abilities are. So we've got Cyan and Strago and Realm. They are going to open up a few different checks here, one of which is Cyan's Dream in the World of Ruin. 3-part check. Could also do the Doma Castle in the World of Balance. Could also do Mount Zozo, where there is a aforementioned dragon. We got Strago, who unlocks some of the, let's say, lesser favored checks here. Yep, timer. Thank you very much. Hefe. So we will be slightly behind. Let's see, we're about 2 minutes behind. So add 2 minutes onto the timer there, and that'll be what the regular time is here. So yeah, where do you expect our runners to go first here, Mega Man?
After checking Narsh, either they could do Sel Figaro, which seems to be pretty popular.
Yep, we got our first look at the monster in a box, and it is Gigantos, the single most XP-rich fight there, and we've got Strago with tools, and we had an air anchor, so this will insta-kill Gigantos. This will be a great boon here for WR Jones, as, like I said, Gigantos, poof, and he's gone, just like magic, and he's going to get a lot of levels for that. Excellent finding that monster in a box real fast first. It looks like Dr. DT is also hopping into the monster in a box. And we'll see if he also has... No, there was no air anchor. Realm, I believe, has health. It was either Realm or Cyan with health.
I'm pretty sure it was Realm.
Oh, here he's hopping in again. He's hoping for no throat jabs to start off. Cyan with capture. Yikes. You hate to see that. There is an air anchor, but Dr. DT opts to actually try and do this fight normally. That's pretty gutsy of him. Good heads-up play by Jones to know that Gigantos is susceptible to instant death, and the air anchor will grant instant death after an enemy takes a turn. That's a steal on Gigantos. Very nice. Capture is at least useful for something. Jones in the returner's hideout. I didn't really see anything of note that he picked up here. Dr. DT trying the air anchor now, and will get rewarded after these counterattacks. And poof, it's gone as well. Ooh, we got some rename cards. Some memery incoming. You love to see it.
Are they gonna go for the meme or not?
Well, it is a stream, so if you're not memeing, you're not streaming, as the saying goes here. So Dones is gonna head over into South Figaro. So Tools is a set of abilities that's usually based on your physical attack versus magic, although we do have Flash, which is based on your magic. Ooh, there's a lot of nice stuff here in South Figaro so far. Hero rings, earrings. So, we did see Blizzard Orb and Rage Ring there in that shop, as well as Gauntlet. All great relics to have. Blizzard Orb and Rage Ring are not equipable by all of the characters, but they do afford elemental protections as well as increases to stats. So that would be good. There's a ribbon that sells for 10,000, or if you need to curse a shield. So, not really a whole lot going on in the seeds so far. If you're in this situation, Mega Man, where your character abilities are not very good, haven't been finding a lot of items, what's your strategy? Do you loot more? Do you maybe go to the Coliseum? Do you maybe take more grind fights to make sure you're way over leveled, even though you have worse stuff?
I think I would probably loot one or two more places, depending on the loot. Maybe grind a bit.
Yep, so our runners will probably go into the basement of South Figaro, where there is double digits in chests. You could also take off the Moogle Charm and do some grind fights down there. Some other towns we might see are Albrook, which has 6 chests in the World of Ruin, 5 in the World of Balance. We could also see Thamasa, especially with Strago, because you could do the Burning House in either the World of Ruin or World of Balance, and there are, I think, 6 or 7 chests in Thamasa as well. So we'll see if our runners find anything good here. What's hiding in the basement?
Hopefully something good.
Well, hopefully our rich friend up there is a hoarder and has got some great stuff in this basement. So far, no good with the coin toss. Hyper Risk could work for an offensive build. Will give you increased amount of strength. But here's where the real chests are in here in this next section. So let us know what your openers would be in the chat as well. We got an Owser's Mansion opener. That is one I would probably lean towards, because there are 2 forced encounters before you meet the boss in order to get a little bit of levels, and you could do even more fixed encounters with the drop-down treasure chests. There's also the Burning House, which is a bit more risky. There are forced encounters in there that you can dodge, but there is no save point, so if you run into a boss you can't beat at the end of it, you just have lost all of that progress. I don't foresee Fanatics Tower, because Fanatics Tower, the gimmick with it, right, is magic only, and we don't have any magic yet. Pulls a rename card out of a chest, so just in case you didn't get enough in the in the shop there. Another option could also be World of Balance Doma Castle for the siege. You can actually walk up to the soldiers that are running into the castle like true soldier siegers would be. I always find it funny that they're trying to climb up the castle and they hilariously just fall on their back, like after getting what looks to be a half a foot off the ground. That always makes me chuckle. But you can actually fight those grind encounters. Jones is already on level 12 after that Gigantos fight, so early monster in a box paying off here, Mega Man.
Yeah, this does seem to be a pretty rough start of a seed.
Yeah, Wing Edge, I think, is the best weapon we've found thus far, and that's not so good. It looks like Jones is going to the World of Ruin and is heading over to Thamasa to pull out some more jets. We'll see if he does an early Burning House play. Owser's Mansion, as mentioned in the chat, if you can't fight the boss, there is a save point in the room literally right before it, and unfortunately you can't Warp Stone out of Owser's Mansion, but you can walk back out of it. So all of that time you spent grinding levels isn't necessarily lost in that case. So we got double Thamasa plays here. Now, unlike in South Figaro, where the chests are different between the World of Balance and World of Ruin, Thamasa treasure chests are the same in both worlds. I'm going to make Dr. DT's screen a little bit bigger here, because I'm terrible at cropping, apparently. There we go. Ah, much better, chat, right? There it is. Yeah, do we have elemental immunities? Well, we did see Blizzard Orbs and Rage Rings. There's a red jacket, so that'll give you immunity to fire, and Ice Shield pulled out of the barrel. That's immunity to ice. I didn't think anybody could wear the Rage Rings, so that stinks, because that's a very easy way to get elemental immunities there. So it looks like Jones is heading into the Burning House, and with that Ice Shield, you could learn Ice 2 on your characters, so there's his offense, I think, going forward here. Looks like we got some commanders here. I'm always confused as to whether some of these fights give XP or not, because some of the fights from the very first fights in the game from Narsh don't give you XP, so sometimes I just ignore these fights, but that one does give XP and 10 magic points. So 10 more magic points, and Realm has her Ice too. And it looks like these enemies are not too difficult inside the Burning House, and with the flash to clear out mobs easily, I think this might be the play here, Mega Man.
Yeah. Definitely the play. Well, depending on the boss at the end.
That is true. You're absolutely right. If there's a nasty boss here at the end of the Burning House, then we may be in trouble. Although, since we haven't done any checks yet, the boss's level will be at level 13, because it's checks times 2.5 plus 10, and everybody starts at level 3, so 10 plus 3 is 13. I can math that. Dr. DT is going to peek what's at Esper Mountain, and it's Shadow! So we have 3 generations here on Dr. DT's screen. We got Strago, Realm, and Shadow. Let's see what the boss is here at Esper Mountain. I think he's feeling fine since he's level 12 after that Gigantos play. And ooh, not what you want to see early. The 3 Stooges here. So for the Stooges fight, there are 3 Stooges on the screen. If you look at what they're wearing, that'll give you a hint as to what their element is. The one on top is Fire Element, wearing red. The one in the left is Ice Element, wearing blue. And the one wearing Bolt Element is in yellow. The one in blue is Insta-Deathable. And the one on the top will revive the ones on the bottom. So you want to go for the one on the top first. Meanwhile, we have Ultros 4 in the Burning House. That is way too hot of a place for an octopus to be. Thankfully, we do have Ice 2, and Chupon is weak to Ice, so this fight should not be a problem here on Jones's screen. And there it is. Chupon is giving everyone COVID, sneezing everybody off the screen, and we'll see it's a Ifrit Magicite reward at the end of the Burning House. Grandpa sleeping over on Dr. DT's screen. But thankfully we have Phoenix Downs, and Realm with natural health is always going to be good. Oof! That's a big shot there. But again, Realm with health should be able to clean that up right away. And it's not very often you see Air Anchor just one-shot an enemy before actually proccing the death. And we've got an Ebbets Rock play from Jones immediately after Burning House. This is what I would do if I was doing Burning House first. Picking up 22, and no less, pieces of coral here in order to get through this RNG-type dungeon. There are 3 static rooms, the entrance, the exit, and that's a jumper from Shadow. So let's see if we can find a Dragon Horn. Now, you can set the Zozo clock to get yourself a full Dragoon set, And you have Cyan, who one of his checks is Mount Zozo, in which you can couple that with setting the clock. What do you think? You think maybe that might be the play here?
That could be the play.
Never mind, there are dragon horns right there in the shop, so... I must have missed that when Dr. DT came into Thamasa the first time, so we are not going to be setting the clock, or at least I don't think we are. Magic power +2 on that Ifrit Esper, so throw that on Realm, and she's set all day. And with Gauntlet and Dragonhorn, Shadow is set for a while. Unfortunately, the Wing Edge doesn't work with... well, every weapon works with Gauntlet, but it doesn't receive the bonus with Gauntlet, because it cannot be two-handed. Meanwhile, what's in Ebbets Rock? It is... Tunnel Armor, another pushover boss. So Jones is finding all the easy bosses so far. And that's a one-shot of Tunnel Armor. See you later. It looks like, staying in the world of balance, Dr. DT heading over to the Dome of Siege here for the next check. And we'll see what comes out of Ebbets Rock. If we start running off the screen, it's a character. We're not, so it's Starlet. Esper number 2 for Jones. It is not a character for Dr. DT, because we have somebody in our party that came out. That's Fire 3 and Merton. And I don't know, was that Life 3? Was that the other spell there? It was either Life 3 or Cure 3. Don't really need Cure 3 if we have Realm of Health, but Life 3 would be great for Calmness later on. And Jones, sticking in the world of Ruin, is heading over to Cyan's Dream. Yeah, I timed it out on stream one time.
No, Life 3 wouldn't be our only calmness protection. RNGesus is still calmness protection.
Yes, if you pray to the RNGesus, and if you have very high physical evade, then maybe that might work as well. But with our racers, a hope and a prayer is not what we're looking for here. When I timed doing the Zozo clock on stream, I did it in about 1 minute and 45 seconds. And it wasn't too bad. And obviously, if you have a character like Mog or Edgar that you know can equip lances right off the bat, that's an endgame build. Senor Behemoth on Dr. DT's screen will absorb our ice spell that we've learned, so that's not good. Is weak to fire and Pearl, but can be instant death in his second form, and we've got an air anchor. Oh, it's a level check on Jones's screen. Doom Gaze. Let's see if he passes. Oh, a party wipe! Oh no! You hate to see it happen. F's in the chat for Jones there. Well, it looks like that really was Cyan's Nightmare, but I will be here all night, folks. No, I won't, actually, because I have to get some sleep at some point. But yeah, there's the air anchor coming out for Phase 2 of Dr. DT, and that will be Senor Behemoth put away. You do get the Behemoth suit for this battle, which is Realm and Strago's best armor naturally, so that's a bonus, as well as getting the reward here. And we are getting Tirado. So that's the first Magicite for Dr. DT. Jones is going to pick up his best dad. There we go. Between the Magic Power +2 Esper and the Behemoth suit, Realm is going to be putting in work this seed. Now we just got to find some really good spells. Dr. DT heading up to Gao's Manor. This is a free check, and oh, the Chainsaw proc from Strago. Let's go. That was so fast, I missed what the reward was there. Did you see it, Mega Man?
I'm pretty sure it was an Esper. But I could be wrong.
Well, so we have no free progression on, so it wasn't a character. And it wasn't an Esper. It must have been some sort of item. Cat Hood? Oh, well, there you go. If your Realm wasn't good enough... Here's a cat hood. Enjoy. What is the percentage chance of Interceptor to intercept? Great question. Let me look that up. I want to say it depends on how badly you need him. If you have low health, every time. Let's see. There's a 50% chance of Interceptor blocking the attack. So there you go. So any physical attack that Shadow receives, there's a 50% chance that Interceptor will block it. And Interceptor's 2 counterattacks are Wild Fang and Takedown, and there's a 50-50 chance between either of them. Wild Fang is slightly better with 66 power, Takedown with 55. And this has been math with the Schwantz 27. Alright, Dr. DT.
The numbers don't lie.
Hey, there's a wing edge proc as well. Lots of instant death going on in this seed so far. I did see Jones pick up a drill for his tools user, so really leaning into that tools for that Strago. I didn't see what his strength stat was, but you could certainly bump it up with things like the Hyper Wrist, which you found earlier, and that Hero Ring. Dr. DT looks like they're going to take a dragon here at Mount Zozo, and we got the Skulldurgan, weak to fire and pearl. So we got Quake and Bolt on that other Magicite, so Tirado not looking good. Alright, so Jones with a couple of extra Espers up on Dr. DT, and that has to be because he went through the Burning House first. It's a much longer check than what Jones has done so far. Buying a couple of Warp Stones, and that's the drill. And as chat mentioned, Cat Hood for the dead check there at Gao's Manor. Let's see what our Skull Dragon drops us here. It's Force Armor. Ugh. I guess it's okay. Kilbasiago mentioning in chat that he would, yeah, unfortunately nobody can wear the Rage Ring or the Blizzard Orbs. That stinks. It is an Esper at the end of Mount Zozo. Yeah, Cat Hood will pick up all the amount of gold that you can in a battle. So it's a great item to have just for the fact that you could do a lot more shopping with it. And it also gives you elemental protections as well. So Cat Hood is probably one of the few items that I don't mind increasing scaling for. That Shoat in Mount Zozo has Magic Power +1 on it. So that's another good Esper to have. Ice 2, I think, yeah. And X-Zone. As if we didn't have enough instant death. Alright, Jones looks like he's going back for the Doomgaze fight. Checked his levels, he's not a multiple of 5. Dr. DT, however, is all level 20. So hopefully he doesn't go to the Dream right now. That would be bad. And it doesn't look like he is. It looks like he's going to Owzer's Mansion instead. Oh, that's a nice shop. Red jackets, red caps, Genji helmets. Still don't know what we're doing with Cyan this seed, because he has Capture, and we haven't really found a weapon for him to use. Strago has tools, Realm has magic with health, and Shadow has jump. I don't think that Jones knows that there is a Dragonhorn in World of Balance Thamasa, because he went to World of Ruin Thamasa first. There's another Dragonhorn in the shop at Owzer's Mansion in Jador. So if Jones makes his way over there, he should find that. So in Worlds Collide, Doomgaze is an annoying fight, but it's not nearly as annoying as in Vanilla because he doesn't run away. Again, we got Strago using the flash to clear out some mobs here. Strago just can't seem to stay up on Jones's side, unfortunately. We're gonna burn it with fire. And it's time for the sandstorm. Thankfully, Strago's force shield makes that miss. Maybe the old man just wants to take a nap. Wow. Ageism in the chat. You love to see it happen. Doomgaze going down as well. Doomgaze using Sandstorm makes him the rude one. Wow, Ficta. Bahamut is the Magicite from Dream number 1. So, the first check of Cyan's Dream will only be Esper item. This check will be either a character or an Esper. And since we see a ghost flying himself into the screen, we know that it's going to be an Esper. And then there may be an Esper and item sitting on a throne. So we might have a 3 for 3 here on with Cyan's Dream. So what have we not seen yet? Well, we haven't seen Floating Continent, or Cave on the Veldt, or Fanatics Tower, or Kefka at Narsh. So those are where our next character must be. Where do you think we're going to have to go to get our next character here, Mega Man? Because it's not at Bowser's Mansion either.
Where would I like to see the next character?
Do you want to be nice or do you want to be mean?
Probably Floating Continent.
Alright.
Floating Continent would be pretty cool.
Yeah, so Floating
Continent. Rarely see that.
Yeah, Floating Continent is 3 checks in 1. The first check is always character or an Esper, and the last check is always a character or an Esper. So you have a much better chance of getting your character there. However, it's a much longer check than some of our other checks. And we got Toilet Atma for Dr. DT. Oof, this is not a fun fight either. Dr. DT picking out all the harder bosses, it seems like, earlier in this seed. Right? Because Jones got Tunnel Armor and Ultros and... I mean, he did fall to Doomgaze, so there you go. Doing a little safety tent, because everybody loves a little camping before they end up waking out of their dream. And an imp on the screen means it's an Esper or an item on Dr. DT's screen. Let's see what we've got. It is Siren. Ooh, very important for our final battle there. And a Dabbing Yeti up on Jones's screen. Thankfully, we have fire, which the Yeti does not like. Yeah, so as Javanator points out in the chat, if you are in Cyan's Dream and you take your Moogle Charm off when you're in the Magitech armor, I believe you get to use the Magitech ability. It's pretty cool. I've seen Silverthorn do it as well. I don't know if that's because he's just been playing around with the Magitech command in the development version, or if that's how it is. Because obviously Tech Missile is stupidly overpowered. It's basically a it's flare without the long animation time and inflicts sap or seizure. That's Bismarck after our Umaro fight. Dr. DT into the cave in the Veldt. So I don't know about you, Mega Man, but this is one of the things I love about Worlds Collide is that runners can go in wildly different paths to still make it through the seed here, as we have Odin for Esper number 6, I believe, for Dr. Jones. Or Jones. Just Jones. Meanwhile, Katana Soul on Dr. DT's screen. And he's going to use the vanilla speedrun strat of confusing Katana Soul into Slayer edging himself. Nicely done. Bolt 3 is on Odin as well, I saw, so Realm just got even more powerful there. And we got our offering, and $78,000. Nicely done. But yeah, as I was saying, one of the things I love about Worlds Collide is runners can really diverge and take two completely different paths through a seed, and both end up in Kefka's Tower because of the character and Esper requirements in lieu of, you know, finding important items. So, what do you think about that, Mega Man? Do you agree?
Yes.
Alright, Siren also has magic power +2. Wow. Alright, so even though the seed did not give us any physical offensive weapons, we certainly have some magical weapons here, as it's a piece of magicite on the ground for Dr. DT. So that leaves us with Fanatics Tower or Floating Continent, I think, is the only way forward in this seed. And Kefka at Narsh. Oof! It is Goddess on Dr. DT's screen. This was not a fun fight. At all. Big heads-up play by Dr. DT trying to get around the love token proccing by using capture and jump in lieu of just the regular fight command. Same with the drill from Strago. Goddess is weak to fire, but has very high magical defense. So that's really not going to do a heck of a lot there. And oh, that's going to hurt. That's going to leave a mark. That's why you see Drill is putting in work there. Strago is down again. We need to get him some better armor. And that's Goddess down and Skull Dragon down pretty much simultaneously. Unfortunately, Strago does not get the XP from this fight. You hate to see it happen. And it's Fenrir. Ooh. So we were talking about Calmness Protection before. Fenrir is an Esper that will cast the image status on your party, allowing you to pretty much bypass physical attacks, of which Calmness is an instant death physical attack. I got a question in the chat about the train. So with the way that Worlds Collide works now, if you have Sabin and you go through the Phantom Train, check, you can go back into the forest and fight the Phantom Train over and over again, and you can get XP, I believe, over and over again from that fight. So the intent is, if you have a objective that requires you to suplex a train, it allows you to suplex the train. And we all love the memes of suplexing the train. This is what we call
amazing.
Yeah, gotta love suplexing the train. Alright, so Dr. DT at 4 characters, 4 Magicite, 1 Dragon. Jones at 4 characters, 7 Magicite, 1 Dragon. So chat, we need our predictions now. Where do you think our character will be? We're at Fanatics Tower, Floating Continent, or Kefka at Narsh. Those are our options. We can peek Fanatics Tower, so you can see the reward at the bottom of it before going all the way up. And you can also peek Kefka at Narsh if you walk all the way up the mountains of Narsh. So Floating Continent is the only one you can't really peek. So what do you think, Mega Man? You said Floating Continent is where our next character you think is going to be?
Yes, I did say the Floating Continent.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Floating Continent is probably the way to go because you're guaranteed a character or Esper at 2 of the 3 checks there. Now, it's a bit on the longer side, but we have plenty of time to learn all these great magical spells that we've gotten from all of these Espers. So that's one reason to go to Floating Continent, as Jones is buying all of his swag right now at the shop in World of Balance, World of Ruin Jador. He's going to also find that sweet, sweet dragon horn if he checks the relic shop as well. So we got a lot of Kefka at Narsh in the chat. We got a prediction of 3 Esper floating continent. That would be mean, especially with knowing that all of the other checks are Espers right now. Hefe predicting some Merton strats. We do have an Ice Shield, right? And we do have red jackets, which nullify fire. Ice Shield will also nullify fire. I think we need one more piece of gear to nullify fire. Or you only cast Merton when Shadow's up in the air. So we might see some Merton strats coming out in the chat here.
Always love to see Merton strats.
Yeah, it's a magical spell that has a lot of battle power. The downside is it will hit everything on the screen, including your characters. However, if you have either immunity or absorption of fire, then it becomes a great spell. And Tunnel Armor is already down for Dr. DT. As our runners are retracing their steps, go give them a follow, Jones and Dr. DT. If you are interested in playing what you're watching, ff6wc.com is our website, as Dr. DT gets a Starlit Esper there. It'll give you instructions on how to load in your first seed. There's a lot of tutorials on there as well, and a lot of wikis and guides, over which I have consulted many a time during races and during runs, so. Alright, so let's see if Dr. DT goes and peeks Fanatics Tower. Oh, he just went right past it. So no Fanatics Tower peak yet. Our runners are keeping us on the edge of our seats here, trying to find that next progression. Yeah, so if you have a Rage Ring or a Flame Shield, you will absorb the fire damage that would have been put out. So it's basically like a Cure 3, as Javinator says in the chat. So very powerful. Unfortunately, we found Rage Rings in a couple of stores, but none of our characters can actually wear them. And I don't think we've seen Flame Shields yet. Alright, Toilet Atma is not weak to, but can be damaged by the 4 main elements, as we see Dr. DT not falling victim to Doomgaze. So far it's Doomgaze 1 and our runners 1. We'll see if Dr. DT shifts it in favor of our runners after this fight. And there goes Atma. See you later. Yeah, Floating Continent is a bit of a long check, but it's very rewarding, especially in this flag set, right? Because you want to get ahead of the scaling, and the scaling goes up rather quickly in this one. And I know that a lot of runners like to take dragons in order to get levels, but dragons will also bump your scaling up. In addition to, oof, that's big damage on that arrow. Will bump up the scaling for the enemies in addition to giving you levels, whereas grind encounters don't. 7 HP in a dream on on Jones's Strago there. I just noticed that. Meanwhile, it's just Realm on Dr. DT's screen. I wonder if he's got some Phoenix Downs. Yep, so Lynn Blum is following WR Jones, so go follow our runners. That is the link to their Twitch channels there. This is a rough spot here, Mega Man, for Dr. DT.
Yes. Very rough.
Oh, 26 grand for the Tizen Thief. Now, this is, I would say, an awful idea. Because in this set of options, the Zen Thief will increase boss levels by 10, and that's Golem, though. Ooh, that's a cheeky play there. Now, he doesn't know that Fenrir is available in this seed. But if he just found Golem, he might be thinking, wow, I got my Calmness Protection, and Dr. DT probably won't get that. Because, like I said, if you buy the Tizen Thief item, you increase bosses by 10 levels. So Jones' scaling is going to be all out of whack now. Maybe he's angling for a floating continent play and is saying to himself, hey, let me bump up the scaling, because I'm going to do floating continent anyway, and I'll have enough on me. Alright, let's see if Dr. DT can finally get this kill here on Doomgaze. 1v1, Realm v Doomgaze. Ooh, the Fire 3 is not going to do it. Nobody War, thank you for the gifted subs. Very much appreciated here on Twitch. Our Twitch sub money does not go to anybody in particular. It goes towards charity. We were supporting the No Reset Marathon that we had participated in recently. So the sub money will go towards that charity. And here it is, Fanatics Tower. It's an imp. And Jones is still going up here anyway. Wow. So this means he's going for skip, Mega Man. Alright, so, chat, our options are down to Floating Continent and Kefka at Narsh for our next character. Yeah, as Narwhal Melon, that's such a fun name to say, mentions, there is a dragon here in Fanatics Tower. So you can take the dragon. But again, every time you take a dragon, you increase scaling, and that is the crack pow on Dr. DT's screen. Wow, getting past Doomgaze. So it's our runners to Doomgaze. I guess you can call that 1.5, because everybody else except for Realm is down. And it is the Storm Dragon over here on Jones's screen. Storm Dragon is weak to Thunder. Ooh, Windy Wind. So here you see the scaling come into play. There's going to be a lot harsher spells coming out from these bosses now. Is there a scaling cap? I believe it's 50. Let me double check that. Yeah, max scaling is level 50, and level 50 bosses hit hard. However, Dragon is down on Jones' screen. Strago casting Bolt 1. Well, the Storm Dragon is weak to Bolt. Maybe he just didn't learn Bolt 3 on all of his characters yet, and that's another Behemoth suit. So, throw that on either Realm or Strago, whoever you didn't put the other Behemoth suit on. So we talked about location for characters, Mega Man. Who do you think is going to be character number 5 in this seed here?
Based on statistics from previous ones, either Edgar or Locke.
Edgar or Locke? Let us know in the chat. I'm going to take a stab here. I'm going to go Gao. Wow! Might even find 2 characters on the floating continent. I would love to see a slots and a slots and, well, we can't see Sketch because Sketch is not included in this particular flag set, but Gamble and Gal. slots in GP Rain Gao, and it is a flying painting at the top of Fanatics Tower. That was a dragon horn in the chest, by the way, so if you didn't find it in either of the shops that our runners did find our dragon horn in, you can get one at the top of Fanatics Tower. And since his best spell is Bolt 3, this could be a little rough. Chatternook is weak to Fire and Pearl, and we do have Fire too, but he also does not have a lot of MP. Oh, wow. Ooh, and the reset! Yikes. Oh, that's awful. That's really bad. So Fanatics Tower, you have to
resetting out of DP.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I can't speak today. Resetting out of D-pad rotating simulator is very bad.
Yeah, so Square Enix had a fetish for for stairs in the early times between the Shinra Tower in Final Fantasy VII and the Fanatics Tower in this game. But Jones, after he resets, accidentally runs into the Doomgaze spot, which is Fun Baba, who has skipped leg day every day of the year. So this won't be our character either. This can only be an Esper or an item. That's a Bahamut summon. And Dr. DT is going to get his next two Magicites, Bismarck and Odin, I believe, was the one on the throne. And he just got Bahamut, speaking of, at the first check after Doomgaze. So Shadow, even though he's got 21 HP, he's going to be up in the air. So you can't take damage if you're not on the ground, so... Final Fantasy IV also had a thing with stairs. I've only played 6 and 7, so those are the only ones I know. I've watched speedruns for other Final Fantasy games, but none of the stair parts stick out to me. And that's Fun Baba down. Unfortunately, Shadow is not going to get this XP, though. Bismarck does have a HP plus 100% bonus on it. Too bad we don't have an Atma weapon or a Valiant knife here. And Zone Seek is the Magicite for Jones at the Doomgaze spot. I have not been writing notes this entire time, so I'm going to start writing some notes for some interview questions. So I'll be quiet for a second, Mega Man, if you want to take over for a minute.
Gladly will. Dr. DT running over to IKEA, buying some furniture. Jones finding his Katana Soul. Jones seeming to go for the same strat.
It is the vanilla speedrun strat, and Dr. DT is our first runner-up to the floating continent. So even though Jones has been, I would say, quote-unquote, ahead all seed, Dr. DT has a real chance here if our character progression is at floating continent. And Katana Soul is not behaving with this this muddle here, unfortunately. Poison will also deal great damage to Katana Soul. Is this in the Cave in the Veldt, the Katana Soul? Yeah, right? Alright, well, with Katana Soul's power up, I don't think he does his Slayer Edge in the second phase here. Or maybe he does. We'll have to see what happens. There it is. Finally. Oh, the miss! Swing and a miss. There's the whiff. It's because Katana Soul gets the image status in phase 2. So now we're looking for Yeah, so Jones's HP, a lot of 1s and 5s and 7s and 9s there before that arrow took it down. Shout out to Ficta for recognizing that one. Slayer Edge continues to miss. You hate to see it happen. This is awful. So after having to reset out of... There it is, finally. Third time's a charm. After having to reset out of Fanatics Tower and then running into Doomgaze, Jones is having the worst time with Katana Soul here, and it's Vanilla Cranes!
No, French vanilla cranes.
Ah, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So Cranes...
Cranes
I'm sorry, go ahead.
after Magitech Research Facility.
Oh, that's right. I wonder why
this would normally be Ultros 4.
You're right, you're right. I wonder why we have the airship animation then here. This is interesting. I don't think I've ever fought the Cranes here. So, the Cranes, one of them absorbs fire, the other one absorbs lightning. How I like to remember it, my mnemonic device is left loves lightning. So, use lightning on the right one and use fire on the left one. Ice will work for either one. Jones is noping out of the cave in the Veldt with an Esper there. Considering he has 10 Espers rather, and he went to Fanatics Tower in spite of the fact that he knew it was not a character. Very interesting. These are all questions for the interview later. I think he's feeling like he's lost a lot of time, which is probably why he's doing that. Left eats lightning. There it is. That's another way to do it. Haydn and the Haydnites, everybody's favorite punk band, is the second boss of the floating continent, and he is dead. Or they are dead. And drum roll, please. Could it be our character here? Dr. DT showing us some new information. That's a Setzer! And Setzer's on the bench. I don't even see what he had. Yeah, Ebbets Rock was Magicite. So it was either Floating Continent or Kefka at Narsh. Those were our two. Those are our two splits for Setzer. Interesting bench. I think I would have put him in for Cyan, especially with a Magic Power +2 Esper. And look at our levels, right? We're at level 31 already. You could learn Bum Rush at level 42 by going through the cutscene at Duncan's house. So I probably would have picked or stuck with Setzer instead of Cyan. Chat, what do you think? Blitz is overrated and had 28 magic power. Okay, never mind. So maybe that... I didn't look too deeply into that. Part of the problem with Blitz is that it's not targetable, which can cause complications in the final battle. Alright. So Setzer is character number 5. We could potentially see character number 6 at the end of the floating continent, but this next check will be either an Esper and item here at the Vanilla Atma weapon location. In my last seed that I played with Fantastodon, I used Airblade in the final battle because that was one of the only things that we had for offense that entire seed. And it did a surprising amount of damage. It surprised me. I think it was 4,000 per hit, but my Shadow was also, or my Blitz user was at Magic Power 70, so, or 60. So that shows you that, you know, if you have a Magic Power +2 Esper and get some levels under them, they could start doing some pretty big damage. Alright, Jones is going to get his Haydn and the Haydnites here. This can be a scary fight, depending upon what your setup is, because one of the Haydnites can confuse one of your characters, and they can zombie you and revive you as zombies, and it's number 128 at the Atma weapon spot. So in Worlds Collide, we have an objective now to win an imp set by completing a task. So if you want to have an imp set appear more often in your flag seeds, you can definitely code an objective to do it. Almost quad 9s with that fire 3 there. And that was Stray at the Atmo weapon spot. So Dr. DT has his 9th Esper, I believe, with that pickup. And character number 5 for Jones there with Setzer. So the end of the floating continent is 2 fixed encounters, and then you get the boss at the end. Cure 3 on that Esper. We already had Realm with health, but Cure 3 just makes it that much better. Jones digging in the monster in a boxes. I wonder what he's looking for. Because he found Katana Soul, right? So he has an offering. Maybe he's looking for Minerva's. And this is a level magic fight on Dr. DT's screen. So the level magics will only reward magic points and not any experience or gold. So unless you really, really, really need to learn a spell, you usually just get out of that. Alright, we got our predictions flowing in chat. What's happening at the final floating continent. Meanwhile, it is Dataluma coming in karate style. So this fight can get nasty if you allow it to go on for too long, so that usually happens early in seeds. But he's got a bunch of stuff to make Dataluma go away rather fast here. You never noticed the gooseneck left arm? Yeah, he's doing like that, you know, those like fake karate poses where you have like your knee sticking out and like your hand like with the wrist limped over? That's what, he's not, Dataluma's not a real ninja, he's a fake ninja. And it's Terra at the end of the floating continent. So that's go mode for Dr. DT here at 55, 27, 28. So somebody said Terra earlier in the chat. It was French Vanilla Terra. So let's see if Dr. DT heads right into the tower right away. What do we think, Mega Man? Is he going to take a dragon or is he going in?
He's taking a pit stop.
Yeah, so we did grab Setzer on the floating continent, so he might be doing this free check here to see what it is. And he might also, that's a Genji glove. He also might, what I might do is if I'm not feeling powerful enough, I might do Imperial Base and just loot the basement and not go through the cave to the sealed gate to do all that. Oh, that's an Aura Lance. Ooh, unfortunately, Shadow cannot equip it. I wonder if there's Dragoon Boots somewhere in the seed. Because we know there's Dragon Horns at more than one spot. Callier Dark saying Terra at the end of the World of Balance instead of the beginning. Hey, that's what happens with randomizers. You can acquire characters at all sorts of crazy places. Oh, it's a Coliseum play here for Dr. DT. Trying to dig something out for his final battles here. As mentioned in the chat, Merton is an available option. I'm surprised we don't see our runners using it. Maybe they're just saving it. That was absolutely nothing at the Coliseum. Yikes. Dragon Claw, I think, was the only notable thing, and that's not very good. And...
oh, there was also a bunch of question marks.
Yep, those could also be good items. So in this particular set of options, their rewards menu is only somewhat, some of the rewards are visible and others are not. With Worlds Collide, you could actually set that to be entirely visible or entirely invisible. You could do the Coliseum rewards as vanilla, or you could do it all mixed up. And you could do the enemies that you fight all mixed up or vanilla. And it is the Ice Dragon terrorizing our Opera House. Let's see if our Ice Dragon has any pipes. Surely won't be around for very long with Fire 3, though. Fantastodon spelling Coliseum with Z's. Resident Sleeper. And that's a one-shot, I think, on Ice Dragon. See you later. Lizer Bean points out that is the Puddle Dragon. Oh, it was two? Okay, I'm sorry.
2 shots. One from Shadow, one from Murder Child.
There you go. It is an economizer. I know we have earrings in a shop, so we don't really need the economizer this late in the game. And it looks like we're still going to do some shopping here. Jones has got 6 characters and 11 Espers now. He reset out of the cave in the Veldt, which he knows is an Esper. So I wonder if he goes to the cave in the Veldt for the skip. All questions to ponder. Yeah, so both of our runners are now in go mode. It just is up to Jones whether or not he decides to take a trip to the Veldt Cave to get his skip or not. Dr. DT's levels are in the high 30s, and it looks like he's into Kefka's Tower first. 59 minutes, 35 seconds. What are the odds of a dead check and no free progression? I think there's 2 or 3, maybe? There's 2 or 3 instances where you might have a dead check. It's very low, but it is not 0. Yeah, and I think what was meant by the question was, what are the odds of a check that is not considered dead being a dead check? If I understood that correctly. Alright, we got a late party swap here in for Jones. Terra's coming out. I didn't see what ability Terra has. But can wear the Blizzard Orb, so I think we're doing Merton here. Terra has Runic, is what I'm being told in the chat. Thank you very much. Only useful in very niche situations. Javinator telling us where he's from. He's from Murtown. Yeah, I would have went with Merton. Even with, not Cyan, Shadow jumping up in the air, I just would have waited until he jumped in the air, right? Because we had an Ice Shield, and we had red jackets available for Cyan and Strago. Alright, so we get to see up here on Dr. DT's screen what our very first boss is of Kefka's Tower. Not yet. What do we think, chat? What does the Inferno spot have up for us today? I didn't see what Dr. DT settled on as the weapon for Shadow. As far as difficult bosses go, we've only seen really Goddess and Doomgaze. I don't think we've seen many other difficult bosses, so we may be in for a rude awakening here. And that's Jones in 1:02:35. So we got a 3-minute differential here between our runners. This is another exciting race. Jones deciding against the skip. And that is our friendly Octopus Ultros. This is Ultros number 2, since it is a pincer attack on Dr. DT's screen. This should go away rather fast. See you later, Ultros. Yeah, 1:02:35 is a great time to be into Kefka's Tower, but remember, we are in the pod finals, so all of these racers are very, very speedy. So it's one of those things where you're constantly looking at the clock and thinking, getting inside your own head. That's a Minerva in a chest there in Kefka's Tower. So additional Merton protection is now online, because Minervas will absorb, will nullify fire, ice, and lightning. Strego has got basically nothing on. Did you see that? I think he's got like a mithril vest and a leather hat. As Dr. DT is onto the switches here. Dr. DT also dispatched of Ultros a little bit faster than Jones there. Alright, what's at the Guardian spot? Oh, man. You hate to see it happen. It's Magimaster. I don't think we have Berserk either.
No. This is giving me Vietnam flashbacks.
Oh boy. Alright, so Magimaster, just to talk through the fight here, is very high physical defense, so this jump is not going to do very much. He does cast a wall change every time he is damaged to change what he is weak to. He will be weak to one element and absorb one element and nullify all of the other elements. So that's why you see the Merton coming in. Drill is an item that ignores defense, so this is actually really good for Dr. DT, that he's got Strego with Drill in this particular party. I don't know what Shadow's going to do, because like I said, he's got very high physical defense, so Shadow is not going to be of much use in this fight. But eventually, Dr. DT will get through this, given that he survives all of Magimaster's plethora of high magical attacks. Because Drill will do the trick eventually. Was there fixed ice earlier? I don't remember. Mega Man, do you remember fixed ice earlier in the seed?
No, I do not remember seeing any fixed dice.
Okay. So, Bahamut will also ignore defense that is not elemental, so that's why we're seeing Sunflare come out here from Shadow. Unfortunately, multi-summon is not on, so this will be Shadow's one contribution to the fight. Thank you very much, Shadow. You've been great. Strego the Tool Man. I'll have to have Saberwolf commission a poster of Strego with the Tool Time Home Improvement logo on him. Yeah, that was... Oh, no. That's a wipe there. Oof. Alright, well, this is yet another roadblock, folks. So we had one roadblock in the seed, being that the floating continent was the place where our progression was. we have to figure out what we're going to do here with Magimaster. Checking all of the Espers to see if there's a Berserk somewhere, and I don't think there is. So now the question becomes, what is your strategy? Well, we want to make sure that we have immunity to a lot of the different elements, because Magimaster will cast any of Fire, Ice, Lightning on most of his turns. He will cast Doom and Mute later on in his AI script. So you have to watch out for that. But you really want elemental protection from the 3 main elements here. And Dr. DT actually didn't save after Ultros, but this is not a problem because Ultros is also not a problem. As Javinator says in the chat, this is a tough reset because you have to walk all the way back through the tower to get to the switches. So that's you hate to run into a wall here at the Inferno spot. What our runners could do, and this is an option for them, is instead of taking the Magimaster fight first this time around, they could instead do the party on the left or the party on the right to get through whatever boss that is to hit the save point there so that they don't have to walk all the way back through the tower. I think that that's probably what they'll try next. And then maybe they'll save the Magimaster path for the very last. Well, they'll warp out of the tower, get all 4 party members involved, and we've got a sync right now. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see, folks. Digging through chests, trying to find something to help them out with this Magimaster fight, too. Looks like Dr. DT is going to take a dragon here. Maybe for some extra levels, or maybe hoping to drop a elemental shield that he could use in the battle against Magimaster. Yeah, so the Kefka's Tower skip would actually put you right on the statues, so it only skips the boss at the Inferno spot, which in this case was Ultros 2. It will not skip the now required fight against Magimaster at the Guardian spot, rather. So what do you think, Mega Man? Are we going to see Jones try and get a bite of the apple again, or is he going to do a different strategy this time around?
What he seemed to do was working, and he just got RNG bad.
Yeah, it always hurts to be in a fight where you only have 2 characters, and your first character gets blown away instantaneously, right? Because with magic, spells that target more than one target will do less damage to each of the individual targets. So the Bolt 3 that killed his Strago did like an obscene amount of damage, whereas if he had both of his characters alive, they might have been able to tank that damage as a team, but definitely can't tank it individually, right? So having one of your party members down at the very beginning of the fight kind of gets you into a hole that's almost impossible to dig out of, especially because Magimaster does 2 magic spell casts per turn, most of the time. There are turns where he does 1 spell cast, but it's most of the time it's 2, and it's usually 2 different ones, and it's usually different targets. Sometimes he'll target everybody, sometimes he'll target one person, so that's what makes it especially difficult. So we'll see what Dr. DT decides to do here. It looks like he is prepping his party for Magimaster round 2. Alright, so that is a stunner on Shadow. So that is a weapon that can be two-handed. And it looks like we got another dragon here for Dr. DT. So this is the same party that fought the other dragon, went on the second party's path to go take this dragon, and it is the red dragon. So red dragon, similar to Katana Soul, can be muddled, right? So you can confuse the red dragon and then just cast ice spells on it all day. But that is not the strategy Dr. DT is opting for here. He's just going to just tear it down in chunks and pieces. And it looks like Jones is going up the left side flank first. Ooh, is that a fallen one from Red Dragon? Yikes. See, this is what happens when you scale our bosses up real high. They get real mean. Jones is thinking very hard about what his next move is here, while he's probably in the bathroom. Red Dragon drops an ice shield. That's huge. The problem is he gonna?
Right.
Is he gonna go? Yeah. You're absolutely right. That doesn't seem like that should happen. Now, the problem is there's no save point unless he goes all the way back on his right side party. Alright, it looks like Dr. DT is prepping his side party instead of the center party, so I think we'll see him go to a... we'll see him go for one of the side bosses first. Right? Because like I said, save points at this spot is important. So, hoping that this boss is a lot easier than our Magimaster boss. And it's Narappa, so this is a lot easier than Magimaster. Especially since Jones has an air anchor, and Narappa is susceptible to instant death. So this should be a very quick fight for him. He's Googling Spiraler Blitz inputs, yikes. Spiraler, that's a weird word to say. Alright, so, in sync... Bye to to Narappa. I'm sorry, I had to do it. And that's our save point, so that's really good because now we don't have to walk all the way back through the tower there. And it looks like Dr. DT is putting some stuff on his middle party, so he might be going back for Magimaster yet again. Meanwhile, Jones looks like he's beefing up his right-hand side party. Forgets his Moogle Charm, though.
Or maybe this is intentional.
Maybe it is intentional, you're right. Hey, there it is. There's the Airblade. It is intentional. I think he's looking for some spells, maybe, to learn for Terra. Alright, so Dr. DT's
moving back and forth.
Dr. DT's going back at it. Alright, so getting a crack at that Thunder Rod first. So Thunder Rod will do a full power tier 2 elemental spell of whatever it is you broke. So that's a full tier 2 Thunder Rod. I might have cast Merton there first, because I think Merton is probably more powerful than your Thunder Rod. But now it's up to some quick drill strats here from Dr. DT. So this fight will take a while. Hopefully he has better luck than last time. Narwhal asking in the chat, how can you tell who has natural magic? So when you look at the character status screen, it will tell you in blue letters whether that character has natural magic or not. Unfortunately, there's no real way other than knowing what spells the Espers have and figuring out which one of the characters has a spell that's not on any of the Espers, but would Reflect Ring be useful for Magimaster for most of his attacks? There are certain attacks like Surge, which I think came off earlier, that it would not work with. right? Because Reflect basically sends the magic that is cast at you back to the user. Absolute Zero is another one that doesn't work, because that'll go through your Reflect ring. And same with Merton. And it's Atma Weapon for the right-hand side. Runic also would work, but as I mentioned earlier, the problem is Magimaster will cast 2 spells per turn. So you might be able to Runic the first one, but he's still going to get past it with the second one. The devs really did their homework on Magimaster to make him the most annoying boss possible. So Zelfer pointing out in the chat that with this particular flag set, and that's a reset for Jones, Atma Weapon also gets some really nasty spells when he's this high level. If somebody starts with Ice, they could eventually learn Berserk. Is that because the natural magic is shuffled and not random? Because that would be interesting. I'd have to take a look at that. I'd have to take a look at the flag set and see if that's... Yeah, so if the spells that are learned are random, then it doesn't guarantee Berserk. And that's Dr. DT getting through Magimaster. Very nice. Awesome job. Yeah, so even though Celeste will naturally learn Berserk, the natural magic spells can be randomized from vanilla, meaning you're not guaranteed to see the same spells that you see in vanilla on natural magic. Debilitator, we do not have. That would work for Magimaster as well, but you'd have to be able to do it real quick. One player casts the Debilitator, one player has to have that magic at the ready, and it's Dullahan for our last boss here at the Spicy Chicken statue. Not a difficult one, especially with Merton, because he is weak to fire and weak to Pearl. But it is a World of Ruin boss, so things can happen here. Alright, so I am corrected that the spells are not randomized for natural magic, just the levels at which they are learned. So yes, at some point, if somebody had Celeste's natural magic, they would learn Berserk at some level. Try wrapping your head around that one, folks. Jones running into a wall here with Atma Weapon on the right-hand side. And that's Dullahan down for Dr. DT. So let me just confirm what Zelfer said, because we got a minute here. Yeah, so natural magic in this particular flag set, the randomized levels flag is on, but the randomized spells is not on. So as was pointed out, if you had somebody with Celeste's natural magic, you could learn Berserk at some point. Have no idea what level it's at, but at some point you can. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, so the Debilitator changes the weakness of the boss to a specific element, right? So you could use the Debilitator to change the weakness of a boss to, let's say, Thunder, or Lightning is what it will be called. Cast Bolt 2, and then after Bolt 2 gets cast and damages Magimaster, he will wall change to some other element that he's weak to, and some other element that he absorbs, right? So you're going to have to use Debilitator over and over and over again. Scan is the magical spell that you're supposed to use with Magimaster to find out what he's actually weak to. But then, like I said, after you damage him, he'll always cast wall change. And it looks like Jones is warping out of the Atma fight. Oh boy. I wonder what he's going to do here. Sometimes you got to know when to stop hitting your head against the wall, right? Yeah, so as mentioned, Mantra will heal all of the characters in your party the amount of HP that the Blitz user has divided evenly, but it won't heal the Blitz user. It also clears most status ailments too. So if you have, it's very useful in like tier 3 when Train starts coming out, because you could basically clear Blind and Mute off of all of your allies. And that's Fallen One from Atma Weapon. Yikes. It looks like Jones is going to... Oh, well, he's going to unlock his skip so that he doesn't have to do the whole tower over again when he goes back in. Did he maybe forget about the cave in the Veldt having an Esper that he reset out of? Well, either way, that was an NPC sprite, so that's not a character here at the Welk check. And it is Kefka at Norsh Kefka. And that's Atma Weapon down for Dr. DT. Yeah, Atma Weapon will use those crazy abilities when they get high enough level. And obviously it depends. So, 415 HP on Cyan, but we did make it through. And we've got a few Espers to play with for the final boss, so we'll talk about that when the time comes. So, Jones gets the Crusader Esper from the Welk check, and that is his skip unlocked. So, heads up play here by Jones. Maybe it's good that he didn't quote-unquote waste his skip earlier and is using it instead now. Right? 124.45 is Dr. DT on the switches. So for reference, that is a 25-minute Kefka's Tower. Yeah, very heads-up play here by Jones. Knew that Atma Weapon wasn't going to happen. He could get skip so that he doesn't have to go back all the way through the tower and can now stack the party in his favor. Crusader does work on Magimaster, however, it also works on your own party. So that's like Merton except non-elemental, which is hideous to deal with. Alright, so do we want to talk about Tier 1 here, Mega Man?
Well, there probably are some new people in chat, so how the final boss in Final Fantasy VI works is it's split up into 4 parts. It's one for each of the essences of the statues, and then Kefka himself. And if any one of your party members would happen to die and you move up to the next stage, that character is lost and a new character would appear. But he only put 4 in his party, so forget what that does for him exactly. Could you please clarify?
Yeah, so you pick your party, and the members that you don't choose in the right order, they'll be inserted into the fight randomly, right? So if, let's say, Cyan goes down in this tier, it could be either Terror or Setzer replacing Cyan. We don't know who at this point. So you can do this if you don't have, like, Calmness Protection, and you're like, okay, I have a 5th character who's okay, but I don't want them in my first 4, right? So that's a strategy you use there. And that is Tier 1 down already for Dr. DT. Alright, so on to Tier 2, which is there's 4 parts to this section of the battle. Tiger is weak to ice, and will do nasty things like zombie your characters and freeze your characters, as well as cast some awful spells. We're seeing Siren come out here, which will mute everything on the screen. And Magic, which is the target all the way on the left with his arms swung out, is hilariously susceptible to being silenced, so that basically makes him effective. There is your doggo appearance of the screen. Unfortunately, he misses on floating targets, so that's not going to happen there. Tools in the middle is susceptible to instant death. Unfortunately, the X-Zone missed, but hopefully we'll get another one of those. Is weak to Bolt or Thunder or Lightning if you don't have X-Zone. And then the blue guy is hit, does only physical damage, and will death counter with 10 hits, which is 10 pieces of physical damage. Yeah, Super Balls are not purchasable in shops in this particular set of options. Rods are also not purchasable in shops, and neither are shields. Nope. Shields are purchasable, sorry. But Super Balls and rods are not. So can't use that strategy to get around Magimaster either. Looks like we're going to have to drill, baby, drill, as they say. Jones is going to every shop to try and find some defense for his team here against the Magimaster fight. Or maybe some offense, because he didn't even check the armor shop. I think the chat mentioned he's looking for healing, so maybe that's it. And oh, we got 3 out of 4 freeze on Dr. DT's screen. Thankfully, Merton will unthaw your characters. Or will thaw your characters, right? Unthaw doesn't make sense.
I'm pretty sure thaw is better English.
Yep.
But then again, we came here for video game, not English.
That is true. So here comes that aforementioned 10 physical hits. A lot of blocks going on here. Yeah, the only way out of the freeze status is either to wait or to use fire on your own party. And since Merton is considered fire magic, that works. And now we only have magic left, and magic is muted, so this is a free section here. So we'll see Dr. DT heal up before tier number 3. Spiraler cures Frozen. It'll also yeet your player from the fight too. Jones found some Atma weapons in the shop there.
There goes tier 2 onto tier 3.
So Atma weapon does ignore defense, so that will help against the Magimaster fight. Tier 3 is 2 parts. The lady there has 9,999 HP, absorbs all elements, and will heal the second part of the boss there, which is Rest. Rest is 40,000 HP. We'll cast some nasty spells like Whirlwind, as you just saw. We'll also, underneath 10,000 HP, start casting Train or Meteo every turn. Train will blind and silence your party, and in Worlds Collide, blind actually works, unlike in the vanilla game. So, we do see tools being used on the girl, because like I said, she absorbs every element. That's a dead Cyan, unfortunately. And Rest will also counter, or death counter with Calmness, which is a insta-death physical attack. So we do have Fenrir as one of our Espers to cast the image status on our party, so that makes that Calmness attack not really a problem. Using the Mega Elixir here, probably to give Realm some MP, as well as get Cyan back on his feet. This is not called Statue of the Gods J. I refuse to have that as part of canon. So Jones, with only 2 sides to fight, will overload probably the Magimaster part. Yep. With 3 characters, because he already defeated the boss on the left, and does have to take down Atma Weapon on the right, but his party is better aligned for that fight now, with the 2 characters that he chose. Alright, it's a bit of a dance here on Tier 3, because you want to make sure that you have your Calmness Protection up, and you want to make sure that you can kill the boss relatively quickly, because, like I said, under 10,000 HP is when the nasty attacks start coming out. So we're seeing quick Merton strats, and we'll see how Jones deals with Magimaster this time around. That's not a good start. Wow. Wow. That was, yeah, Magimaster don't play. And that is Tier 3 down for Dr. DT. We are into the final Kefka fight. So, Final Kefka has 60,000 HP. We'll start out with Fallen One, unless you get him to under 30,000 HP in your first turn, which basically takes your party down to 1 HP. So, that could be useful for your Mega Elixir, but Dr. DT already used it. And once he gets under 30,000 HP, he also gets into his counterattack phase, which he'll start counterattacking all of your attacks with things like Hyperdrive or Train, and just making a big nuisance of himself. If he gets down below 10,000 HP, he counters with Ultima, or has a chance to counter with Ultima. However, he will enter in a Goner phase, which he does not counterattack during, and it sets up for his AoE party-wide attack. Jones is typing in the race chat. I hope the audience is enjoying this dumpster fire, by the way. So, give us a thumbs up or press 1 in chat if you're enjoying the dumpster fire entertainment here in Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. Seems good. There it is. So here comes the Fallen One, but Dr. DT has a second Mega Elixir there. So you do get a Mega Elixir when you defeat Magimaster, and we found one in a shop earlier in the game, or found one in a treasure chest earlier in the game, so. Dr. DT waiting for this Merton to run out before using his Mega Elixir, because Mega Elixir will also cure your MP, so using Merton a couple of times, because Merton costs 85, I think, MP to cast. So it's a bit of a slog on the magic power. We got Genji Glove Atma Weapon offering there from Terra, doing 800 a swing times 8, so that's what, 3,600? 30. Is my math correct? Yeah. Like 3,600 damage each turn. 6,400. Sorry, thank you, Javinator. My math is terrible. I did 8 times 4 and not 8 times 8. Don't math while you're trying to commentate, folks. And that's it. The Crack Pow. Dr. DT, GG's. He is our winner. He will be moving on. 138.04 is his time. Get your GG's out in chat. Tell him I said hi in the race room as Jones gets past Magimaster on his screen. So a bit of a triumph for both of our runners. Alright, we'll see if we can get Dr. DT in for an interview here. Let's maximize. Maximize our Discord here. The real final boss was the friends we made along the way. Thank you, Lizer Beam, for the the uplifting thing. I put the winner on the wrong side, didn't I?
Yes. Yes, you did.
Whoops. You hate to see that happen as well. Alright, so Jones is just down to Atma, and he will be into the final battle. Let's drag in our winner for tonight. Dr. DT, congratulations. GG's on your victory. You are moving on to the bloodbath that is the quarterfinals next week. I don't know if you're muted or your microphone's not plugged in, but
You did.
he's not muted, so let's sort out those technical issues here. Alright, well, while we wait for Dr. DT to figure out his mic situation, Jones is going back for fight against Atma Weapon number 3. Gotta love the music of this fight.
Come on.
My favorite music in the
You
game.
can do this.
What's your favorite tune in Final Fantasy VI, chat and Mega Man?
If I want to go for something very chill, I'll probably listen to, I think Children in the Streets is what it's officially called.
Okay, the town theme, yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of different answers. We got,
But if
I'm sorry, go
feeling
ahead.
in a jazzy mood, I'll do the Zozo theme.
Yep. Zozo is great. Some of the answers we got in the chat, we got Cyan's theme of Doma. That's a great one. Dancing Mad is an obvious favorite. Gao's theme, little bit of violin or viola action, I think. It's stringed instrument. M-Tech Factory, if you like dubstep, I guess. The Mines of Narsh. Nice little piano tune. Shadow's theme is also great. Zone Eater is a banger. So, we're trying to get Dr. DT in for an interview. However, his microphone is, let's see if he's got it. And that's Jones past Atma Weapon. Third try is a charm here, folks. Then we got Dr. DT, I think, question mark? Can you hear us? Bueller. All right. Well, Jones is done with all of his boss gauntlet here, and he will step up to the plate against Kefka in just a minute. Searching for Friends is a great one. I learned Terra's theme on guitar recently. I do play guitar, so I learned it. It's pretty easy. It's just a few notes. Although the final note, you know, with the really high one, you gotta go all the way down the neck of the guitar to hit that guy. And you gotta have 24 threats. I think if you're in the right key, I think it's like 22 or 23. Who wants to play Worlds Collide using a Guitar Hero guitar? Now that is a challenge. Jones on the Switch is 141.55. So let's see. His Kefka Tower took way too long, and I'm not even going to say what it is. Alright, I will spoil it. It's almost 40 minutes.
He got in about...
It's 39 minutes and 30 seconds. Dr. DT is in the text chat. Let's see if he's in voice chat now. Hey, Doctor, can you hear us? Hello.
Try a unplugging in your microphone and replugging it back in. That's worked for
have
me
you
a
made
couple
sure
times.
it's on? Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I'll drag him in when we are ready. All right, we're on tier 1 for Kefka. So that long arm there is actually susceptible to petrify, so break will work. So let's see if break does work on the first try here.
First try break, always love to see it.
Yep. There is a Guitar Hero mod called... what's it called? I think it's called Clone Hero? It's on PC, and they have custom songs for it. So I'm sure that somebody somewhere... Yeah, I'm sure somebody somewhere has made a guitar chart for video game themes and things of Final Fantasy there. So... Yeah, so while we got Jones playing out the final battle, drop him a follow. I want to see that Kefka notification on screen again. Also, give our winner of this stream, of this race, Dr. DT, a follow. We will be, right after this race, going into the Doom Pod race. That is happening as soon as this race is pretty much done. So, the stream will come down, however, and it'll come back up because I will not be restreaming it. It'll be somebody else restreaming. So you will have a minor break, and there it is. That's what we like to see. The Kefka lulls. Dr. DT, can you hear us? We still cannot hear you, unfortunately. That is tier 1 of Kefka down on Jones's screen. I'm about to unfollow and refollow Jones so that this way he gets a foul alert on every tier. So also props to Seal and Cat doing our tracking here tonight, making our jobs very easy. We just look at the numbers and say what they are. And also thank you, Mega Man, for stepping in to do commentary with me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry I was a little late.
Hey, that's fine. You thought it was Saturday. Alright, Dr. DT thinks he's got it working. Let's drag him in. Dr. DT, are you there?
No, he is not.
Alright.
What, is this try 6?
That's alright. Between all the tries that we had at Atma Weapon and Magimaster tonight, you might as well try one or more times with the microphone. So Merton just laying waste to everybody on the screen here on Jones's screen. Unfortunately, Terra, I think, is stopped, right? That's the pink outline, is stop. So he must not have found Siren. I don't know if you guys can hear that with my microphone, but it is storming ridiculously out right now. So if something were to suddenly happen, it's not my fault. It's the storm that's outside. I solved, I think, knock on wood, all of my issues from last week. So that's why there has not been a hiccup in this stream so far. And Dr. DT is back in the booth with us. Hello, Dr. DT. Still don't hear you.
still can't hear you. I really wish we could hear you right now, because you're probably saying a lot of glorious things over your victory over Jones.
Yep. So Magic wasn't the only person that was silenced in the game. Dr. DT has also been silenced, apparently. Anybody got an echo screen for this guy?
You get silenced in the video game, you get silenced in real life.
Banned Schwantz. I know, my terrible, terrible Final Fantasy VI dad jokes. Alright, we're on tier 3 for Jones here. Pretty textbook Kefka fight so far. And there it is! Another follower. Love to see it happen. Oh, that's a steal of a Ragnarok. Let's go. Who can use it, though? Terra can naturally use it, so let's see if he puts it on Terra. I think Terra has those Atma weapons, right?
Are we gonna get a last-minute equipment swap?
Oh, Cyan cannot use the Ragnarok. Wah, 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 wah. So we saw that in yesterday's race, too. I think Ficta, or doesn't he, one of the two, because they were the racers yesterday. Somebody stole an Atma weapon from Sleep. So you could steal a Ragnarok from Lady and an Atma weapon from Sleep, or Rest, or Statue of the Gods J. I'm surprised that he didn't use his rename cards. Maybe he forgot about them, because he picked them up at the very beginning of the seed, and it's been a grind to get to this point from Jones. So, big up to Jones for the perseverance to hang in there. Cyan sleeping on the job again. And looks like Realm is going to die here. Ooh, the weight trick just in time. Oh, Cyan gets woken up, but at what cost, as both Realm and Terra are down. Jones is going to heal the boss, so if you heal the boss above 10,000 HP, he gets out of this Meteo rinse repeat. I don't expect racers to ever use rename cards, but if you go and buy them in a store, you know, you're just asking for it. So now that Sleep is above 10,000 HP, although that Merton might have put him down below 10,000 again, Jones can safely get his party back up without having to worry about getting meteoed on every single turn. Alright, he's just powering himself up in order to make sure he could survive the onslaught of meteos again. Terra now doing about 2,000 damage a turn, so that'll kill Sleep in one shot. And there is the Calmness with the Golem block, and we're on to the final Kefka. Dr. DT, can you hear us?
Is your mic finally working?
Can you hear me?
Oh my goodness, we have a Dr. DT in the house.
You have been heard.
Amazing.
Wow.
I had to reset my whole computer.
Yeah, Magimaster did you in so dirty that he made you reset your PC, I guess.
Seriously, he reached out of the emulator, he grabbed my CPU, and he cast Bolt 3 on it.
So, give us your rundown of that seed.
Man, well, I mean, I felt like up until I got into KT, everything was going super smoothly. Like, I felt like the bosses were not giving me too much trouble. You may have noticed I noped out of the Gigantos fight at the beginning, and I was like, wait a minute, I can do this. I have Air Anchor. So I went back in and got an easy 9 levels off that guy. And yeah, so I felt like everything was going really pretty smoothly up until the point where, like, it was just giving me all sorts of spells. I think I had Fire 3, Bolt 3. I was happy to get Merton up and running. And then I ran into that Magi Master, which forced me to do some pretty creative routing with my Strago team. You know, though, I have to say, though, I've always wanted to, in a race, be forced to do both dragons with the right side team. I've been looking forward to that day.
Yeah, that was an interesting strategy, looking for elemental protection, I'm assuming, just to survive, right?
I was looking for elemental protection, but mostly I was trying to teach Quick to Strago.
Yeah, so that he can get 2 drills per turn, right?
Exactly. I had Quick X1, and 2 dragons is 50 MP each, so there you go.
So
Plus the bonus levels.
I think the only other boss that gave you some trouble was Doomgaze in the Dream.
Oh man, Doomgaze. Yeah, Realm is a hero there.
Yeah, so just to fill you in, Jones actually level 5 Doom wiped to Doomgaze, so
Oof.
it was our runners 2 Doomgaze. I would say 1.5, because we'll give him a half a point for that fight that he put up against you.
Yeah, I mean, I kept trying to get my people back up, and then I realized, I saw Doom, like the spell Doom, miss on Realm a couple of times, and I was like, wait a minute, I bet that I forgot to redo her relics, and I bet she's got a Memento ring on. So at that point, I was just like, you know what, she can survive this, and I just, like, keep casting Fire 2s. Oh hey, it looks like Jones just won. GG Jones.
Yeah, Jones just finished 156-11. Get your GGs in the chat for the man, the myth, the legend, Jones. Dumpster fire entertainment at its finest, as he says. So yeah, the Doomgaze fight was squeaking by. So you went through the world of balance checks early, whereas Jones went through the world of ruin checks early. But you basically ran over each other, and you were down. Maybe you didn't know this because we had seen all of the checks. You were down to Floating Continent or Kefka at Narsh towards the end of the seed. What made you go to Floating Continent?
I went to Floating Continent because I think I needed an Esper and a person.
I think you were at 4 and 8.
I was at 4 and 8. Oh, yeah, I needed 2 people. So that's why I went to Floating Continent, because there's a chance with Floating Continent to get 2 people. And actually, I got them. I got Setzer and Terra out of that. So, it was one of those, if everything goes perfectly, this will be the last thing I need to do. And everything went perfectly.
Yeah, you actually went to the Floating Continent before Jones, even though Jones had more Espers under his belt. So you actually got your go mode first. But obviously with Magimaster in waiting in the wings, that was the real gate of the seed here. So I'm going to drag Jones in and tell him, GG, congratulations on finishing that awful seed, Jones.
Yeah, who rolled this?
And tell him, GG, congratulations on finishing that awful seed, Jones.
Well, thanks, guys. I hope it was as much fun to watch as it was to play.
Yeah,
which is probably not much.
No, we did see some fun things like Doomgaze took you down, level 5 Doom.
Yeah, that was a good start there. And actually, even when that happened, I wasn't really that worried. My start was really strong. I felt like I'm like, this is going really well, and then the wheels came off the bus at the end.
There was a section in the middle where you went to Fanatics Tower, even though it was an Esper.
Yep.
And you got the Chatternook at the top, and your only spell was Bolt 3, and he just
I had no MP.
no MP from doing the dragon before that. Then, after you reset, you lifted up your airship, took 2 steps and ran into Fun Baba in the sky.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what too, when I went up into Fanatics Tower, I don't know what came over me, but I went in and I saw it was an Esper and I knew I didn't need it, and my mind was yelling at me like, "Don't do it. You don't need this." But I'm like, "You know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't care. I'm gonna do it." And let that be a lesson to you. Whenever your gut is telling you you should not do something, just don't do it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, when your gut is grumbling, go get a Tums. And then you went to the cave in the Veldt, saw it was an Esper, and reset out of that.
Yeah.
After doing, and then so after you did Floating Continent to get characters 5 and 6, you actually were at 6 characters and 11 Espers, and we were all waiting with bated breath because you guys finished around 2 minutes apart from one another. And we were like, well, if Jones goes back to the cave on the Veldt, he gets his Esper, he gets his skip, he's going to leapfrog over Dr. DT, even though DT finished first, and that didn't happen. So
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that actually now that you bring it up, but my thought at the time was I don't know where I'm see that's how good my memory is. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to get an Esper. I don't want to run around doing dead checks for a while. I'll just go straight into the tower. I felt like my offense was really good. You know, I had all those tier 3 spells and stuff. I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty set. But I wasn't really thinking straight, and like I put Terra in, who I'd just gotten, and the only reason I put Terra in my party is because she could equip. I'd been trying the whole seed to have Merton protection the whole time, because you had Merton like right off the bat, and I couldn't
yep.
find, there were Blizzard Orbs and Rage Rings right off the bat, but nobody could equip anything. And so it was kind of like a principle thing at that point. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cast Merton in this seed. And so
Yep.
I saw that Terra could equip something. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm just going to do it. And then, you know what? What can I say? I don't know.
Yep. I figured that we were going to see Merton when we had red jackets for Strago and Cyan, and then an ice shield for Realm with jumping Shadow, and then say, well, let's cast Merton when Shadow's in the
Yeah,
air.
but the thing is, Strago couldn't equip any. Oh, I guess he could equip the ice shield, but Realm
Oh
couldn't
yeah,
equip
but
any
he
of that
couldn't
other
quit.
stuff.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I was mistaken then. I thought Strago
Well,
could
that's what I
be
was
the red
trying to get to
jacket.
because I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, if I can get Shadow in the air, it'll be okay. But it was freaking Strago. It's always Strago.
Yeah, I
That's
had
what I'm
exactly
blaming
the
for
same
this.
thought.
Yeah,
I spent all seed trying to get Merton protection, and I only ended up finding it because I took that dragon in KT and got the extra ice shield.
yeah. Man, I should have done that. I found a Minerva in KT. I think it was KT or right before
Yep,
I went
right in
in
the
there. I'm like,
chest. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Was it? Oh man,
yeah,
The chest before the conveyor belt on
I
the
need to
right
open
hand
these
side.
chests.
yeah. Well,
I've been
there's
just neglecting chests in KT because I'm like if I'm in KT I should be ready to go.
Yeah, I feel the same way, except for in a seed like this where I'm like just desperate for something like that. I'm like, you know what? I spent so much, I like warped out, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta find a V knife or an Atmo weapon or something for freaking Magimaster, and like
Yep.
maybe I'll find some elemental protection too. But what a train wreck!
So not doing the skip earlier meant that you could, after running into the walls that were Atma Weapon and Magimaster, warp out of the tower, go find some stuff, go get your Esper number 12, and then be right back in the statues instead of walking through. So I thought that was a huge heads up play.
Yeah, it was. If I hadn't spent 10 minutes shopping for something I never found, it would have been even better. But,
Well,
oh,
congratulations, Dr. DT. You are moving
Hey,
on to
thank you.
the
Thank you so much.
quarterfinals, and great run by you, Jones.
hey,
So
thanks.
Hey Jones, I
congratulations
got a
on
question
getting
for
here.
you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so looking back on this pod, Spicy Chicken Pod, did you ever fight Spicy Chicken?
You know what? I'm not sure I ever did.
I never did either. So I'm choosing to interpret this whole pod. I'm choosing to interpret this seed, as evidence that you had spicy chicken inside you this whole time.
Yes, that's right. I would say that's true, except for I couldn't find any fire protection the whole time, so it's not real.
Yeah.
No, but GG's to you, Doc. Man, that was great. Good job. You deserve it, and I'm happy to hand it over. So there you
Oh,
go.
thank you, Jones. GG's to you as well. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Mega Man, you got anything for our runners before we give it to the next broadcast team for the Doom Pod?
Not rub. Ah. I'm sorry, I cannot speak today. I also thought today was Saturday. So frick me, I guess.
Oh man. Well, thank you to our runners, Dr. DT and Jones. Make sure to give them a follow. I've been the Schwantz27. Ceiling Cat has been our tracker. That's the actual. Those are for the next group of people that are coming in. So never mind. I get night blocked by Nightbot. But thank you very much, everybody, and don't go anywhere. We'll bring the stream down for just a minute or so, and then we'll hand it off to the next team, who will bring you the Doom Pod race, and we will catch you on the next one. Thank you again, Mega Man, for helping me commentate, and we'll see you on the other side of the break. Bye bye, everybody.
Adios.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.